Hello there, my name is Tim Skinner and we are here at Mobile World Congress 2017 in Barcelona. Today I am speaking with Stephane Beuvelet, who's the CTO of Etisalat Nigeria. Hello Stephane.
Hi, and Tim, thank you for inviting me today.
It's an absolute pleasure. So, I hear that Etisalat Nigeria has been doing a lot of interesting work with spectrum in your country. Why don't you tell us a little bits about this GU900 project?
Okay, all right. So the GU900, it's something to do with spectrum, and you need to understand that the spectrum is very expensive for the operator. We are paying hundreds of millions of dollars, to acquire spectrum, and now. Actually Huawei came up with a new technology which actually allows us to combine in the same spectrum. So here we are talking about 5 megahertz of spectrum, which we use for 900 in the past, which is GSM, legacy technology. And now they actually managed to find a way to put both GSM 900 and UMTS on the same spectrum. So in the past, we would have needed at least 3.8 megahertz of spectrum for UMTS and 2.4 megahertz for GSM. And so in total we will have needed 6.2 megahertz.
Yeah.
And we actually, with this new technology, we need only 5 megahertz of spectrum. So of course, it's actually very useful for us because we actually manage, to actually enable 3G services in areas where we had, high utilization of data. So we used to have, of course, UMTS in the traditional 2100, but now we actually managed to increase the capacity on the data, which is very good news. So, of course, because it's a first in the world, so we had to check, because there is a lot of technology, especially interference cancellation technologies, which actually allow us to avoid interference between the two layers, which is of course important for our end user. We don't want, to create problems for our users. So this technology is, it's actually proven to be very flexible, and the reason it's very flexible is because now we have a flexible bandwidth. So, when you want to use voice, for example, especially our busy hour is actually at 8 o'clock in the evening. So when you want to use more voice, then the spectrum will actually provide more GSM or a little bit of U900 as we speak. And if you are later in the night, if you need more data capacity, then also the spectrum will be available for this. So if you want, so it's the first time we have this flexibility in the industry. I think it's something we are looking for a long time, because we used to have a chunk of spectrum sometimes not being used at all at certain period of the day. So now I think this is one of the main benefits.
So what would you say? You touched upon interference. What would you say are other sort of considerable challenges associated with effectively trying to do the same amount with the spectrum, but with a smaller amount of spectrum? What sort of challenges do you come across with that? Okay,
so the main problem is because now the spectrum are actually, they overlap from each other. So you have a block of U900 and it's actually overlapping, with GSM. So obviously, for engineers, and RF engineers, they will understand that there is some challenges. So the main challenge we found is that if you want this to work properly, you need to create what we call a buffer zone. You need to make sure that you have a very accurate buffer zone, which is actually an area where there is no interference with the neighbors. And after you have done that, you need to make sure that there is you need to tune the power, especially for the GSM signal. The GSM signal will have to be powered down a little bit. And then you have to enable a lot of new features. So I think some of these features are actually available, especially on 3G, but Huawei made it available for this particular technology. You have technology like enhance multiple interference cancellation. You have technology like collaboration on multiple points. So this is a lot of technology put together, which actually allow to manage this interference.
And if we were to put this into a business benefiting scenario, what would the principal beneficial outcome be for Etisalat Nigeria?
Okay, so one of the main benefits is actually to improve the coverage indoor. Okay, because now suddenly, because of the 900 being a better propagation spectrum, so now you can actually enable 3G services in areas where there was no coverage before. So this is one of the main benefits. So it means that the throughput obviously has increased dramatically in these areas. We have seen more than ×3 or ×4 in terms of throughput per user. So it's a massive improvement of quality of service. And then also, we have seen in terms of OPEX, we use exactly the same antenna and the same equipment. So it's actually a reduction in terms of CapEx. We don't have to create another layer of U900 on top, and we don't have also to pay for additional spectrum also. So it's also a lot of benefits. So there is benefit for operators and there is benefit for end users. And of course, it's actually increasing the traffic. We have seen an increase before and after. It's around a 20% increase of data traffic. So of course, for an operator, we are trying to maximize as much as possible, the traffic and our revenue, of course.
And now, just finally, then, just to wrap things up, if you could give a piece of advice to other CTOs in your position looking to undertake similar projects, what would that one kind of key bit of information be?
Okay, so I think one of the advice is I will advise that this technology is good for a transition period, because when you compare the GU900 with the U900, basically refarming the whole of 900, it's a little bit less efficient. Okay, but for our environment, we had to maintain the GSM signal because of regulatory constraints. We need to keep GSM services. Also, we still have a lot of machine to machine, so point of sales. So we needed also to keep these businesses going in this area. So I will advise mainly to keep this technology as a transition period in order to keep both GSM and UMTS. And after that, you can do whether you can go directly to U900, so UMTS on 900 only, so full reform, or you can go to LTE 900, or you can even go to GL 900, so which is a combination of GSM and LTE.
Yeah.
But for us, it was not adequate because the ecosystem is not yet good enough in Nigeria. There is much more 3G phones, 3G smartphones penetration than LTE smartphones.
Wonderful. Well, thanks very much indeed for explaining that and for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.